What's going on, guys? GeoSnow right here. So in today's video we're discussing about iOS stashing, how to stash your iOS 10.2 or 10.1 jailbreak, what are the advantages of doing so, and how to avoid bad stashing. In order to understand better what stashing is, if you do not have any idea what I'm talking about, I'm going to go here into Cydia. Now, you probably know back on iOS 8 or iOS 7 or even iOS 9 when the jailbreak used to be untethered, when you open the Cydia for the first time, you would see something like preparing the file system. That would take roughly 2 minutes, then complete and give you access to the entire Cydia store. Well, now it's no longer the case on iOS 10.1 or 10.2 jailbreak with Yalu or even Pangu. And that's because the stashing is deactivated on the Cydia. Cydia normally has a stashing mechanism, and I'm going to explain what stashing is, but due to the fact that it's disabled, it's never run. Let me explain what a stasher is and why you should install one in the first place. When you go here in Cydia, you have a storage information menu. It's not put in here just for the sake of it. I'm going to show you its utility. When you go to storage in here, it will generate two charts. The first one would be system partition and the second one would be private. You can see that the system partition is definitely smaller, only 3.5 gigabits, while the private one on this particular 16 gigabit device is 11.3 gigs. Of course, when your device is 64 gigs, it will be a lot bigger than mine. But the system partition of yours is less likely to be bigger than 3.5 gigs or 4. So normally the system partition is kind of the same on all devices, no matter what amount of gigabits you have as a memory. So 3.5 gigs or 4 gigs are easily to fill up. You can see in my case it's nearly filled up. It's only 11.9% free. And therefore this means that it will be soon filled up. What this means? This means that if I continue to install tweaks and themes and so on, I'm going to fill up the system partition and definitely will not be able to install anything past that point because Cydia will error out due to the lack of space. But why doesn't the tweak get installed in private where there's plenty of space? Because you do not have a stasher. Now this is what the stasher does. It takes the components, the jailbreak, the tweaks, the themes and so on, and anything generated by the user and moves it to the private, which is actually the user partition, where there is a lot of space, there's plenty of space to work with, and leaves the system partition free of any tweaks or any jailbreak related files that are not required for the jailbreak to work. Now, in order to install a stasher, you need to go ahead in Cydia and of course search for one, but when you search for one, you will definitely find myriad of stashers, but a lot of them are poorly made, badly maintained, and so on, and will definitely kill your jailbreak. Yes, a stasher is able to kill your jailbreak if it's poorly made or incompatible, or if it does something that shouldn't be done. For example, moving important system files into private and not generating any symlinks. How a stasher actually works? Well, it's pretty simple. As I explained, in a nutshell, it moves anything related to jailbreak and sometimes related to the system, which is not good, into the private from system, and then it generates a symbolic link, like a shortcut on Windows, on the system so that the system knows where to find the moved file. Pretty damn simple. But what about the fake stashers or the stashers that do not work? Well, good question. Avoid them. Installing a random stasher from anybody, for example Yaka Utilities, that actually made a lot of problems in the past, despite being a good project, it is poorly maintained and will definitely make problems. You need to install something that actually works, and in today's video we're going to install a stasher created by Coolstar. This is the same guy behind the Semi Restore and many other apps. If you go here on Coolstar, you need to add his repo, being coolstar.org/public repo, and he has quite a few things in here, including on tweaks. these classic apps, classic phones, and classic dock that you can try out. But on system, if you go in here, you have remove passcode, CSP, and so on. But the most important one is stashing for iOS 9.2 to 10.2. Now, a lot of people who do know about stashers probably now are like, do not install that, you're going to kill your device, and so on, because there is now a cult. There's an idea that is floating around that stashers are bad for iOS 10. That's not true. Well, it used to be so because before the stasher created by Coolstar was released to Cydia, every stasher that you could find for iOS 10 and even for iOS 9.x on Pangu, the tethered or semi-tethered Pangu, used to brick the device, but this stasher is definitely working. So I'm going to install it right now. This is what you need to do as well, and it's going to install normally. It's going to move anything related to jailbreak, including, as you can see from here, Filesa and Terminal, iCleaner, iFile, Cydia, if that's your thing, and so on. And everything is going to be moved to that partition. And after that, when you're installing something new, for example, I want to install Mobile Terminal, but I already have that installed, so I'm going to install something else. I'm going to install FMYD Blocker by Julio Verne. I'm going to install it. You're going to see that you have quite a few more strings in here, and they're part of the stashing, and that's because the application itself gets moved into the private and not into the system. So as you can see, it's completely installed. Alright, so as you can see, after a respring, my device successfully installed FMYD Blocker with no problem, even though I have the stasher installed, as you can see it from here. So, should anybody install a stasher? No, definitely not. If you can, you should avoid them, because they tend to be buggy sometimes, but this one is pretty damn stable anyways. I've been using it for a while. But anyways, stashers are not meant for anybody. If you're installing big tweaks, for example emulators that pull out a lot of data and easily suck up any space remaining in the system partition, then you should have a stasher installed. If not, and if you have only a couple of tweaks, then you should not probably install one, but there is nothing wrong about installing one anyways. Now, what is the advantage of installing the stasher from Coolstar? This particular stasher only moves the files that are related to the jailbreak itself. Nothing related to the system gets moved out of its place, which means that if you mess up something, you can easily wipe your phone from the settings without having a problem. Yes, this stasher allows you to do that, because it doesn't move the system files, it only moves the jailbreak related files, and that's good. So this is basically it. This is how the stashers work, and this is the stasher that you should probably use on iOS 10.2, and that's the stasher that I definitely recommend. If you have any questions or any suggestions, I expect them in the comment section down below. Until the next time, I'm GeoSnow. Peace out.